Hi, this is Tiffany Travels. Welcome back to my channel where we help women and families travel, build wealth, and live richer. So, on my channel, you'll find travel vlogs from around the world, as well as travel chats with expats who live in different countries, as well as advice on how to travel and live richer. So, today I'm talking to you about some of my favorite travel destinations that I've been to. I've been to 26 different countries. I've been to 5 continents. So over those trips and over that time, I've really come to enjoy certain cities, and I'm going to share that with you today. So if all of that sounds interesting, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. So I'm going to start with the first city, and they aren't in any particular order. I didn't rank them. They're just 10 cities that I love and that I will continue going to multiple times. So the first one is Playa del Carmen. I just went to Playa del Carmen a few weeks ago over spring break, and I love this city. So it is a beach town in Mexico. Hi, C. Wilson. Are you flying? You says you're listening from the clouds. So, yeah, Playa del Carmen was the town that I fell in love with. It's a beach town in Mexico. So, if you ever go, bring your sunscreen because it is super, super, super sunny there, but it is beautiful. And they have resorts that overlook the ocean. So, they have these infinity pools. You can get in the infinity pool, and then your view is just the ocean. So it's a great destination to, she says, no, I wish. It's a great destination to just relax. And then the people are super warm, super friendly. When I was there, I had people outside of the hotel staff, just people in the city helping me with my bags because I was with my daughter. And so we had to take a ferry, and there's stairs, and we had my bags. And so they were helping me with that. And it wasn't even people who worked for the ferry company. It was just strangers. So they are very nice there and welcoming in Playa del Carmen. Another thing that I really love there is that it has community. So there are expats that are living there already. So I went to go see my friend, Keisha Be Traveling, and she introduced me to some of her other friends who are there in Playa del Carmen. And so they have a community, and that is something that you can look for when you're traveling so that you can see people, meet people. In addition to that, they have like a ton of restaurants, and it's very walkable also. So there is like Fifth Avenue, Avenida Quinta, and you can walk down Fifth Avenue and see bars and see restaurants and go to the beach. There's art museums. There's a Frida museum there that was enjoyable. So if you like art, if you like food, if you like to lounge and just sit down, go to the pool, then Playa del Carmen could be your spot. So that's some of the things that I loved about Playa del Carmen. Um, and I liked it more than Merida. So Merida is another city that people visit and go to, but with Merida, it's not a beach town. So you have to drive to the beach. You have to, yeah, you have to drive to the beach. As opposed to Playa del Carmen, you can walk, depending on where you stay. But for the most part, everywhere is walkable to the beach. So I liked it better in that sense. I would also say it's kid friendly. I know that that doesn't come up when you Google or search Playa del Carmen. It kind of has a party vibe to it. There's younger people there in Playa del Carmen. So if you wanted to go to like a hotel party, you could find a younger vibe. But there's also things for you to do with kids, definitely. So the next city that I would definitely say people should visit is San Juan, Puerto Rico. Let's see here. C. Wilson says, I heard there are a lot of Black expats in Merida, and I haven't been there yet. Merida does have a ton of expats, and it's very safe. And so I think that's one of the reasons why people go there. It's one of the safest cities in North America, like including the US and Canada. I think it's number 2 safest city in North America. So it's very safe. It's also very pretty. They have like a downtown area where they have the sign, the Merida sign, and the food is very good there as well. It's actually on my list. Let me see if it's on my list or if it's on my list of places, of top 10 places that I don't know if you guys can hear. There's like a thunderstorm happening outside. So if you hear if you hear that, that's just thunder outside my window here. So yeah, Merida is very safe. It's very beautiful. It's not close to the beach. That's why I like Playa del Carmen better. It's like a 30-minute drive. The food there, though, I had some of the best food, some of the best Mexican food there when I was in Merida. The food was great. It's inexpensive. The airport there is pretty easy to get to. It's not a ton of traffic because it's not as populated as like a Mexico City or even a Cancun. So the airport there is not stressful like Cancun airport is stressful. So I think it's like a slower pace. So some people, if you like the slower pace, they prefer Merida over Playa del Carmen or over Mexico City. But the one thing to be aware of with Merida is that it is so insanely hot. It is so sunny. It feels like you're walking around and like God has a magnifying glass just on you. People avoid the sun. So you will see people coming out later in the day and like 6 p.m. or so to avoid the sun. And you'll see people walking on, one side of the street to avoid the sun. So if you can handle the heat, it is a great destination. I would say it's a place for a like low key, less stress. Yes. So C. Wilson says that she didn't know that. And that you heard that too about the sun. It's so hot. We have Tokendi that joined us. Hi, how are you? We were just talking about Merida. I say Merida. Some people say Merida. I think Merida is like the English version, and Merida is how you would say it with a Spanish accent. So Merida is so unbelievably hot. And even just to walk outside, it is just, you're drenched immediately. You're immediately drenched. So I would say if you love the sun, if you like low key, because it is like definitely like a slower pace and good food, less stress, like not that much traffic, then Merida could be a city for you. So those were the places that I really enjoyed in Mexico. San Juan, Puerto Rico made the list. So the old San Juan, where they have the Spanish forts and they have restaurants down there too, but just the architecture is so pretty when you go to old San Juan and you see the old forts. It reminds me, I saw it in Cartagena, the same architecture, and I saw it also in Panama City. So it's very pretty. And then the food is like Caribbean, rice, beans, plátanos, chicken. It's delicious. Mofongo. Like some of my favorite food is in Puerto Rico. So definitely try San Juan. Add it to your list if you haven't been there. Also, if you're going from the US, you don't need a passport. So that is helpful. Like if you're waiting for a passport or if you're about to renew and you're, in between passports, you can try San Juan. C. Wilson says, yes, I've been to San Juan, Puerto Rico. I loved it. It's really beautiful. The water is beautiful. The food is delicious. And then the music there is, the salsa music, the Mark Anthony music. It is just so vibrant and upbeat. So I really enjoyed San Juan. So I'm also Caribbean. So my parents are from Jamaica. So this list is going to be maybe a bit biased because of the food that I like happens to be in the Caribbean. So we already have Playa del Carmen and now San Juan. I had this dish in San Juan and it was like I can't even, it was like a plantain that they had cut in half and then stuffed it with shredded chicken and avocados. It was so good. Like I've never seen that again anywhere else. I think Puerto Rico loves plantains. And since I love plantains as well, it's like a perfect match. So, oh, my mom joined. She says, hi. I was just talking about some of my favorite cities. So far, it's been Playa del Carmen, Merida, because it's super safe, Playa del Carmen, because it's beautiful. And now we're on San Juan, Puerto Rico, because of the food and the architecture, and it's so close also. So C. Wilson says that the people are very nice and friendly in Puerto Rico, very much so. So after Puerto Rico, I picked Panama City. So Panama City has like a beautiful downtown area. So you can see high rises, there's condos. It looks like you're in Miami because you're just overlooking all these buildings. And so downtown Panama City, beautiful. Another place where the food is amazing. You can get like Caribbean food, the drinks also. You're gonna get your margaritas, your pina coladas, like your typical Caribbean Latin food. So that's good. This is another place where the humidity, you need to be warned before you go to Panama City. Just know this is another city where you're going to be drenched. It doesn't matter like what time of year. Oh, okay. So C. Wilson says she loves Panama City. Now, when you went, was it like extremely humid? Because I live in Florida and I thought that Florida was extremely humid until I went to Panama City, and I was like, this feels like you can almost feel the water in the air. Like it is so humid. It is, yeah. So C says the humidity is otherworldly and is hotter than hot. It's so true. Like Merida is sunny. So it's just you feel your skin burning. You can feel the sun burning your skin. And then Panama, you feel the humidity and it's just heavy in the air. It is just so hot. But if it wasn't for that, so C. Wilson says she went in March. I went, I think it was June, and it was just so hot. I was like, oh my God. If it wasn't for that, it would really be somewhere that I would consider moving to because the prices were right, the food was delicious, the drinks are right, the people are friendly and nice. It has like a Caribbean feel to it, even though it's in Central America. It still has the Caribbean feel to it. You can get your rice and beans, which is I'm a fan of that. So I loved it there. And then the skyline just makes it feel like you're in the US, but not. It feels like a city just a little further south than Miami. So You said it was not hot, like March through November or in that area in that time. I gotta figure out. Maybe there's a time when it's less humid and less just hot. I didn't find it to be as sunny as Merida, where my skin feels like it's baking, but just so hot. But it was a very enjoyable vacation and experience. So that was another place where I noticed. Oh, it was extremely hot. Yeah. That was another place that I noticed that the people came out later in the day. So when I went to Panama, one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people come out and just hang out. So they would go to, there's like a strip where people exercise, people walk, people just hang out, and they would bring their family and they would bring like a blanket or a chair and they would just relax or eat or drink. They would bring food maybe. And I thought that was something that I don't always see here in the States, is like families coming out on a regular basis, not just because it's 4th of July or not just because it's Halloween. Like they come out because it's a Tuesday or because it's a Wednesday. And I had that same experience in Merida, where every Sunday they close down the street. So they close the streets and they have music, they have people dancing. It's kind of like a festival because they have vendors who are there selling food. So they have, yeah, like a little party every Sunday in the main square, and they close the streets that drive into the main square. And so I liked that culture prioritizes togetherness and just hanging out. So I saw it there in Merida, and I saw it also in Panama City, where the people come out after the sun goes down or like right around sunset, and they come out to enjoy life. And that is also a welcome change from being in the US. The next city, yeah, Casa Viejo. Uh-huh. Which is where it's like the downtown area. That area reminded me of Old San Juan. And it also reminded me of the like in Cartagena, where they have the downtown area. They all look alike. Like if you just dropped someone in one of those three cities, they probably wouldn't know which one they were in. But I liked Casa Viejo. They had really nice restaurants, and it was enjoyable, like just to spend an evening and just hang out. C. Wilson says, yes, it does. So next on the list is Rome. Rome is a city that you have to visit. At least once in life, just because it's so historic and there's so many monuments, and so the architecture and the Vatican City, the museums, just driving around Rome just gives you a feel of how people used to live hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And beyond that, like if you're not really into history or if you're not really into architecture, beyond that, there is still the food. The food in Rome is just so delicious. Okay, so there's a dish in Rome. It's called cacio e pepe. It's like a noodle with it's an egg noodle with cheese and cracked pepper. So delicious. And it's kind of local to Rome. So when you go to Rome, you get that cacio e pepe. And then the wine is so inexpensive. Like you can get a whole bottle of wine for like €6 at the restaurant. Here, a bottle of wine is like $30 maybe. So it's just so different. So C. Wilson says, you're naming my favorites. This is awesome. The food, the gelato, exactly. So the gelato, the espresso, the cappuccino, the pasta, the wine, the prosecco, the vino, yeah, the wine, the Sangiovese wine, the different restaurants that you can go visit in Trastevere, which is a little downtown area where they have food tours. Pizza, oh my gosh, how could we forget pizza in Rome is also delicious, paninis. So even if you don't like or you're not that interested in architecture or history, going for the food alone is worth the trip. And the wine and the prosecco. Okay, all of it. The food, the wine, the beverages, the cappuccino, the desserts, the tiramisu, all of it is so delicious. So Rome should be very high on your must see list. Okay, just because the Italians are slower pace in their lifestyle. So even when you go to a restaurant, they're not rushing you. So we go to a restaurant here, and the waiters, they're interested in getting you in and getting you out so that they can get the next party seated, and they want to maximize the profit that they're making off of that one table. So if they can get you in and out and have somebody else seated, then they can make more money during that time. And in Italy, it's just not like that. You can stay for as long as you like. No one is going to rush you. No one is going to tell you there's a limit on how long you can use the table. They're not going to say, oh, this table is only for an hour, hour and a half, and then you got to go. They will allow you to sit there and close down the restaurant if that's what you want to do. You can stay there the whole night. And so C. Wilson says it's the best place for a foodie. Definitely. I agree. And when I was there, I was in my Airbnb, just, getting ready to go to bed. And I could hear the Italians downstairs still at dinner. And it would be like 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. in the night. And they're still, and it was like a weekday, and they were still enjoying life. So it's definitely a must experience. If not for the architecture, then for the food. If not for the food, then for the wine. If not for the wine, then for the desserts. If not for any of those things, then just to experience the slower pace of life, and the emphasis on enjoying life, on enjoying meals, on being present. When I would go to restaurants, I would hardly see anybody on their phone. So, they're in the moment, present, enjoying the company of the other person. And if it takes hours, then it takes hours. She says, don't forget about the shopping. So I'm not really a big shopper. I'm not really one that spends a lot on clothes and shoes. So if that's you, then C says Rome is the place where you can get those things also. I wouldn't know. I did go to a mall in Rome, but we just ate. We went there, we got some paninis and some wine, and we ate more food. She said that's okay. So while you're in Rome, the next place that you got to check out is Florence. So Florence is very similar to Rome in the lifestyle, in that they prioritize togetherness and connection, and that they're not going to rush you if you're out at dinner. So all of those things are very similar. But Florence has a slower pace, even slower than Rome. So Rome is, it's a big city, but it's not as fast as a New York. It's slower than that. And then Florence is even slower than that. So Florence is like a smaller city. But it's beautiful. It is just beautiful. So we're gonna have you on the show, C. Wilson, and we'll talk about all of the places you've been. Um, so Florence is beautiful. They have this plaza that overlooks Florence. It's called Piazza de Michelangelo. So it's on the top of a hill. So you go to the hill, and here's the Piazza de Michelangelo, and it overlooks the city. So you can see all of the city down below, and you can see the river, you can see the Duomo, you can see everything there. And then sunsets in this particular location in Piazza de Michelangelo, it is just beautiful. It's by far one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen in life is the sunset over Florence from Piazza de Michelangelo. Yeah, where you go here. So, and then just the walking by the river, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful in Florence. If you're in Rome, because Rome is amazing, go to Florence. Even if you just go for a couple of days, it's just so beautiful. You can relax, you can see. And then the food in Florence is also quite delicious. They have, different dishes from Rome. So Rome has its own local dishes, and then you go to Florence and they have their local dishes, which are also delicious. So definitely put Rome and Florence the top. Yeah, so that's what we did. We took the train to Florence from Rome. It's like 2.5 hours on the train, and the ticket costs, I want to say, $30 or less to go to Florence. And it is well worth it. It's just visually such a beautiful city. Like, if you like nature, if you like sunset views, if you like rivers, if you like just sitting down next to the river and looking at the river and looking at people walk by, Florence is your city for that. Okay, so we got Florence. Back to Nassau, Bahamas. I put it on the list because they have great food and because it's close to the US and because it's close to the US, but it's a different culture. So you definitely notice the change in culture when you go from the US to Bahamas, but it's so close. It could be like an hour flight, depending on where you are in the US, or a 3 hour flight. And you go there, it's definitely a more relaxed vibe, relaxed atmosphere, as opposed to here in the US, where our culture is hustle culture and it's work culture, and over there it's more just relax and enjoy life culture. The beaches in Bahamas are like blue, 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 aqua blue, beautiful beaches in the Bahamas. So if you get a chance to visit there, go try some of their fish, go try some of their conch, because that is like what's local there, the conch. And then go to the beach because the waters are so blue. Next, what did I have on here? Turks and Caicos. So Turks and Caicos is another place where the water is just almost like like you can't even believe this is real. It's so just turquoise, aqua, blue waters, beautiful. And then the other thing about it is they have the same delicious Caribbean food. So Turks and Caicos, I feel like, is not as visited as some of the other places like Jamaica or Bahamas. And so it's not as touristy. So if you like more of a authentic experience, If you like more of an authentic experience, then I would say go to Turks and Caicos because you can get away from the crowd, you can get away from the tourists, you will see the most beautiful blue waters you've ever seen, and the food is delicious. If you're going grocery shopping there, it can get pricey because everything is imported. And so groceries can be expensive. But other than that, it is just beautiful. So, hello, I think this is Davy. When am I coming to Africa, Kenya in particular? It's on my list, okay? Kenya is on my list. I gotta go to Nairobi. I gotta go to Nairobi, Kenya. I have some people out there to visit, and I gotta see some of the safaris out there, eat some of the food there, and then maybe add it to my list. But since we are talking about Africa, I'm not sure if I put. Oh, I have a city in Africa that's on my list, but it didn't make the top 10. It is an honorable mention. So I'm gonna get to that one um, after I get to my 10. So my mom says she's patiently waiting on Jamaica. Did I put any of the cities in here? So we could talk about Jamaica. Jamaica is like a honorable mention. Jamaica. Jamaica's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The water is, of course, so perfect blue. The food obviously is delicious. So my family heritage is Jamaican. So all of the food, the patties, the festival, the jerk chicken, the curry chicken, the oxtail, the music, the my mom said your honorable mention. Yes, so the food is delicious there, of course. The fruits. So whenever I go to Jamaica, I have fruits that I've never had before in the States. Like, for example, sugar cane. I don't think that's a fruit. I'm not sure. But like when you're in the States, we don't just eat sugar cane. And sugar cane is just like the stalk where they produce sugar from, and you can eat it and like get the sweetness out of it, the sugar out of it. Yes, so Jamaica, the ackee, the saltfish, the of course the music, the food, the beaches, definitely. C. Wilson says the coffee. My mom is shocked that Jamaica did not make the top 10. Okay, I gotta go back. I gotta go back and not go to a resort. I think I gotta go back and experience, because all of these cities that I'm naming now, all of them are places I've been to and I didn't stay in the resort. So I got a feel of the city. So Rome, we were driving around Rome. Florence, we walked around Florence. We went to different restaurants. Bahamas, I walked around the fish fry. Puerto Rico, we walked around. We went to Old San Juan. Where else? Playa del Carmen, walked down Fifth Avenue, went to the beach. Where Merida, I stayed in an Airbnb, so I walked around downtown area. Jamaica, I don't have as much experiences walking around outside of the resort to be able to say that it's my top 10 favorite. All of these other cities, I've experienced more of the actual city. So that's why it's an honorable mention. I'll have to go back and I'll have to do it like I do the other cities. And we walk around and we go to different restaurants and we go to different beaches and we experience different foods in different places. And then I'll redo my list, possibly. C. Wilson says she loves Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. So where do we leave off? Okay, so we did Turks and Caicos. Cartagena is next. Cartagena is on my list. I felt really safe, by the way, in all of these places. All of these places, I went out in the evening. Some of them I went with my daughter to these locations. Some of them walked around, took Ubers, took taxis. Some of them I took buses, public transportation buses. So they all felt really safe. Cartagena included. So Cartagena was a place where it felt safe. I can take a taxi or an Uber. And in addition to feeling safe, it was really inexpensive. So our Ubers would be maybe $2, $3 in the Uber app. You know, if I go back, I still have a history of all of my Uber activity. I can still see that to the walled city was $2 or $3. And so it's really inexpensive. The hotel where I stayed in Cartagena, which is the Hyatt Regency, I think, Cartagena. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hotel. And it's in a position where one side overlooks the ocean. So you have an infinity pool, and then the infinity pool has a view of the ocean. And the other side, you can see there's a bay. So you see boats and you see buildings, like a bay area. It was really beautiful, inexpensive, good weather. I gotta remember being as humid as Panama or as sunny as Merida. So it had good weather, and then good food, of course. When you go down to the wall city or you go to different cafes, good food. And another thing about Cartagena, Colombia, it's very vibrant, like very colorful. So everybody is dressed up in their flag colors, the blue, yellow, red. And so it's just very bright and you feel alive, I think is the word. C. Wilson says that she hasn't been to Cartagena, Colombia, but wants to go, and that the Ubers were really cheap in Panama as well. Yeah, any place that has really cheap Uber, I'm like, yes, because then I can see myself there for an extended period of time. And I know that I can just Uber everywhere I need to go. So that is one of the things that I loved about Cartagena. It felt safe and it was really easy to get around. The next one on my list is Merida. And we already talked about that one earlier. So now we're up to 10. And the 10th city is actually a US city. It is Chattanooga. So I love Chattanooga, Tennessee for a number of reasons. It has Southern food, Southern cooking, which I find to be delicious. It also has mountain views. So coming from Florida, it's really flat here. We don't have mountains, we don't have hills. We have beautiful oceans. Oh, you are? You're in Nashville. I have another woman that watches my channel, and she's from Nashville too. Yes. Okay. Yep. Tennessee, I like Tennessee. It's just very peaceful. I found Chattanooga to be very peaceful. Like you can just sit, and it's a slower pace than a New York or a Miami or a DC. It's slower pace. It was very like the mountains are beautiful. And then the homes, yeah, Chattanooga is very pretty. So the homes were gorgeous. I'm a realtor here in Florida, so I went to go see some homes in Chattanooga. They are like just beautiful homes, and you can tell like this would be so pretty in the winter when it snows and there's like a blanket of snow outside your home in the backyard. You can tell this would be so beautiful. It's a slower pace, So it's less stressful. It's pretty. It's less stressful. It's cheaper than your larger cities, and it has delicious food. So those are all the reasons why I was like, I could see myself spending maybe a couple of weeks in Chattanooga. So that was my top 10 so far. And then we have our honorable mentions. So the first one is Cape Town. Cape Town is beautiful. So there's Tabletop Mountain. It's a mountain, Tabletop Mountain, and then you can see all of Cape Town from Tabletop Mountain. And then there's clouds that sometimes hover, or fog that sometimes hover over the mountain. So it kind of looks like a tablecloth that's just draping over the mountain. It is really, really beautiful there. They have a beach. They have, I think it's Boulder Beach, and they have penguins. So South Africa has beautiful nature, and then they also have the animals that, the lions in the safari, or you can go see the penguins at Boulder Beach. It had beautiful wine. There's Stellenbosch Winery in South Africa. Lots of history, of course, with Nelson Mandela, and his jail is there on Robben's Island. So I loved South Africa. Yes, it is very photogenic place. It doesn't look real in Cape Town. Yeah, because it's just so blue. The skies are so blue, and then the mountain, Tabletop Mountain with the clouds. There's tons to do there. Also, you can do hiking, you can do a safari, you can do a winery, you can do the beach, and there's so much. The food is delicious. There's so much to do. It was so amazing. It didn't make the top 10 only because of the race relations in South Africa. Whenever I would go into a business, it seemed like the business owner did not want my business. It seemed like they were not interested in serving me or selling to me, or that they thought I would not be able to afford. Oh, hey, JB. Hey, this is the person I was just saying, because we had someone here and she says she's from Nashville. And I was like, I have another friend that watches, and she's from Nashville as well. So yes, glad you can make it. Especially from the white South Africans. Yeah. So I felt that it was more than one occasion, and I was only there for like maybe 10 days, more than one occasion that I got the clear indication that I was getting treated differently because of my race. And so I get that all the time in the US. And so when I go on vacation, that is something that I'm not looking for and not wanting to see and not wanting to experience. And so that's why Cape Town was not in the top 10, but very, very, very beautiful city. The other honorable mention was Napa Valley, California. The wine out there is so good. It's just okay. JB says she's in the Tucson area. So the wine, Napa Valley, the wine is so good, and it's just such a relaxing experience, like a girls trip or a couples trip or something like that. Napa Valley is just for the relaxing. And it feels like a little high end. So if you're looking for a high end vacation where you just want to, get your jewelry together and get your little sunglasses, your designer glasses, and have some wine, Napa Valley is where you could go. So C. Wilson says that she has got to visit Napa and Lake Tahoe, and she loves California. California is cool just because of the different seasons out there. Because where I lived is just one season. It's summer. It's always summer. So over there, where you have like San Diego, that is moderate temperatures, and then San Francisco, which gets winter, which gets like cold. Yes. So just this week, and she'll be going back to Nashville soon. The other honorable mention was Atlanta. Atlanta. So Atlanta almost made the top 10 because the food is delicious. I've never had like Southern food like when I go to Atlanta. So we have the fish and grits, and then the chicken and waffles, and then everything. Everything. Whenever I go to Atlanta, I eat very, very well. So why didn't I put it in the top 10? I think maybe it was too busy for me. And I was like, well, Chattanooga kind of has similar food, but it's a slower pace because that's what I like, is a slower pace. So that's why I put Chattanooga in the top 10. But yeah, Atlanta has beautiful skyline, delicious food, and they have seasons. So you can get your winter fashion, your summer wear, and those are it. Those were all the honorable mentions. So if you're in the chat, what are some cities that are like a must see? If I had to pick one, that would be really hard. So maybe I'll pick three. If I had to pick three, I would say Rome, Florence, and then maybe somewhere in the Caribbean. So maybe, I don't know, one of the Caribbean. That would be so hard to pick just one. If I had to pick one. So maybe, I don't know, it'd be Rome, Florence, and a Caribbean city. Yes, Steve Wilson says, I like your list. Thank you. Okay, so it has been great talking to you guys. And as I travel more, I'm sure I'm going to have to redo this list. And Charleston. I haven't been to Charleston, South Carolina, but I have heard that it's very pretty there. And they have still some plantations that you can visit. You know what I want to do? I want to go to more civil rights museums and more Black history museums. Like, I think there's a few in Alabama. There's Birmingham, and I think Montgomery has museums. I have a feeling like these places aren't going to exist in years to come. So I'm like, I gotta go to these museums and experience them, and just in case something happens to them. Okay, so Charleston has an International African American Museum. I like going to them. I've been to one. I've been to the one in DC, the African American History Museum in DC, and then there's one I think in Charlotte that I went to, and they had like the sit-in counter, and they kind of like recreate what that experience would have been like sitting in some of those places, and maybe a couple of other ones that I can't remember right now. But okay, Charlotte has one, so I will put it on my list. Great. Well, thank you guys for joining. And next week, I'm going to have a guest who retired in Africa. So hopefully I will. So Nashville. Nashville has one too, an American Music Museum. African American Music Museum. Okay, I'm putting it on my list. Charlotte, and it's a must. Okay, we got to go to those. Okay, I'm thinking about doing more domestic travel. Yeah, like Philly, an experience. I think Philly has some a big African American art culture that I wanted to see there. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you guys next week. It has been fun. Thank you for joining. Until next time, bye.